Minnesota's journey to statehood. In 1805, a man named Zebulon Pike traveled to Minnesota with 20 soldiers to purchase land to build a fort. This land needed to be purchased from the Native Americans who were already on the land. And so for $2,000, Zebulon Pike traded goods and cash to purchase this land. That fort became known as Fort Snelling. In 1848, the businesses in Minnesota had grown so much that the business leaders wanted to start the territory process. They gathered in Stillwater and elected Henry Sibley as their territory representative. Alexander Ramsey became the governor of the first Minnesota territory. Now, why would Minnesota like to become a territory? Because the business leaders would then have government help in gaining more land from the Native Americans. Because in 1850, most living in Minnesota were still Native Americans. So in 1851, Henry Sibley, along with other government officials, made a treaty with the Native Americans called the Traverse des Sioux Treaty. This opened up lands for whites to come to Minnesota. And in 1851, 5,000 whites raced to Minnesota. 1849 to 1858, Minnesota was the fastest growing territory in the United States. All of this as a result of the treaty. In 1858, Minnesota had enough population to where they could now become a state. They had three reasons why they wanted to become a state. One of them was they could then, as a state, they could control their own money. They could also attract railroad companies to build in Minnesota, and they could have a voice in the big decisions like slavery in our country. So thanks to this increase in population, Minnesota was granted its statehood on May 11th, 1858. Minnesota becomes the 32nd state of the United States, and Henry Sibley became the first governor.
Created using Powtoon.